Laszlo S, the co-founder and CEO of Kiln, and I'm today with Pierre, the CEO and co-founder of Usual. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Pierre.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
It's so funny to have two French people speaking in English. You have a better accent than me, definitively. I guess that's what the 21st century is about. So Pierre, yes, today we'll be diving into DeFi, a revolutionary financial system heavily reliant on stablecoins. And the stablecoin market has skyrocketed, nearly approaching $170 billion of TVL, with projection to reaching $3 trillion in the next decade. We all hope. By enabling fast, cheap global payments, stablecoins have become one of crypto most prominent product market fits and represent nearly now 70% of daily volume in crypto. Usual Money launched Usual USD on the public mainnet in July, reaching $400 million TVL yesterday. And I think now it's the 12th largest stablecoin,
Something like that,
in the market.
Yes, absolutely.
I checked on DeFi Llama this morning. What a journey. So maybe first, before we talk about Usual, can you introduce yourself, your background? Because you have a very unusual background and everything.
I have so many things, but yeah, clearly I'm not the repeat entrepreneur. I discovered first crypto in 2013. I was playing poker. I was a law student. And so I was playing a lot of cash game poker. And so I discovered Bitcoin like that on various table that on some .com website. After that, I work as a lawyer. I discovered also politics. I became the political advisor of the French president. I had the chance to run with him his campaign. I've been elected as a member of parliament in 2017. And as a member of parliament in France, I work a lot on crypto regulation. So I draft the legal framework about crypto just after the second bull market, the ICO bull market in 2017. And I was also the vice president of the presidential party during 3 years. And I quit politics in 2022 just for embracing a new life as an entrepreneur. And I create Usual at this moment, yeah.
And I mean, that's when we met. That's when you were still a politician and one of the youngest in France, actually. So why did you quit politics to become an entrepreneur?
It's a tough question. I was very happy of my experience, but I really think that first, a politician should be someone that make back and forth, so jump into political life, but also come back to the private sector, and because you need every time to learn new things if you want to defend the common interest well. So you need to understand how the world is evolving, and sometimes when you are just elected, you cannot just touch the reality of everything. So I wanted to have new experience. And so also, I feel quite the limit of being a politician. So sometimes I was pitching just alone, new stuff about innovation. Not a lot of people were listening about what should be done in France for calibrating the regulation. And so, yeah, I decided to say, okay, I will find a new way to be useful in my life. And so I quit politics to embracing something new. And so I try to work on Usual at this moment. But I'm very happy of what I've did as a member of parliament. Little bit disappointed of what we can see in France currently in political life. But really, it's another step of my life. So I think it's good to change and to reinvent yourself. So that I tried. I came back to zero. No job. I had some contact in crypto, but really in France, but not at the international level. And I start to rebuild something, grabbing some key component and very experienced people next to me, and creating something valuable for the common interest, I think.
And you can have gone like in any tech industries, AI, biotech, whatever. Why crypto and why stablecoin? What does it matter for you?
First, I think as I have a deep feeling for crypto since 10 years. When we discover Bitcoin and every other crypto maybe 10 years ago, we feel something that is something that is really a disruption, something that is very innovative. We cannot, at this step, we cannot say that this would change the world because we don't know what will be the adoption. But clearly, we feel that there is a huge potential for crypto. And so when I was working on crypto with a lot of crypto entrepreneurs, as a member of parliament, I see that it's not fake. It's not just speculation. It's not just a system that is a financial system. Is something also that will change also the conception of the value, the conception of holding asset and so on. So it's really a new change, a new view for financial ecosystem. And so I decided to jump in this world because I think it's the best way to change with my own experience. Something that is actual on the TradFi ecosystem. And so, yeah, I think it doesn't make sense to do other thing. I wanted to just deep dive something that I love, and so crypto was a case.
And I want to come back to this, so like how Europe, how France is playing a role in this new economy and in this new fiat digital money after. But maybe before we do dive into that, like, can you explain how do you met your co-founders and how like usual started?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of life, in certain sense, because none of my co-founders I knew Adli a little bit, but really one day I was looking for. It was at the end of my mandate. I was looking for what I should do, And I met this guy around a beer and say, okay, I want to rebuild a stablecoin. He say, what the fuck? Stablecoin is quite boring, because it's a Bitcoin maximalist. I say, yeah, no, you will see the interest rate we're growing, and we think, I think we can reinvent Tether and Circle, not just making a copy paste, of Tether and Circle in Europe, because I really think that European companies should not copy just what have been a success in US, but really try to invent and innovate and create new model. And so I said to Adi, yeah, I'm a little bit disagree on that. And so we look for a new system that was disrupting a little bit the actual one, and try to be complementary, to have other features. And so the first guy I met was Adli, and after that, people introduced with various other co-founder. Manfred, I go to a P2P festival and I see this guy stage and say, okay, not the same background, I haven't got any tie at this moment, but really it was more cyberpunk than me. And so I said to him, okay, I want to build a stablecoin. He said, okay, I'm in. And after that, we met another guy that just sold his fintech. That was Hugo, Pumpkin. He built Pumpkin and sold that to a French bank. It was like a French Venmo. And yeah, I say, okay, you don't know crypto? Doesn't matter. We will work together because I love startups. Yes, yeah. And the last one was Pete. It's also Pierre, but we call him Pete because there is two Pierre in the company. And Pete was a trader in London. He also an entrepreneur because he built various projects and so on. And say, okay, this guy is fitting with what we want to build. Also the same energy, the same type of mindset, and really it's like that, So I had some chance because if I haven't met, Adi, Pete, Hugo, I think the project will not be where it stands right now. And so everyone bring all different things, and that's really important because they don't have the same backgrounds as me. They don't see also life, or they have really a different view than me. And so that is complementary. And we achieved to work together in the same direction. And so really, I think the best luck I had was around the fact that I grabbed these guys around the company, and we achieved to build that together. I'm grateful about that because it's like random, maybe I will not be there if I haven't met this guy around a beer or something like that.
Yeah, and I know some of your co-founder Adli for many years. He was managing a crypto hedge fund before. Manfred, for sure, is also an advisor of the company. I think he's the one that also, I knew you before, but the one that introduced us again in this framework and concept of usual that you were also launching the company in the office as some.
Yes.
And Pierre seems a very successful fintech entrepreneur that is that he can scale the company and make it successful. So one of the point you mentioned is, as European or just as a crypto founder, you want to do different or better than what Tether and Circle are offering right now in the markets. What is the problem with Tether and Circle?
There is no real problem. It's just that crypto are being invented to decentralize, and decentralize not just, say that there is no company or governed by a few hundred of people. It's just decentralization is also the way to redistribute the value, And the problem with Tether and Circle is that they just act like old bank, They are just replicata of a traditional bank. We can see that also in the regulation because EMT, so electric money token, regulates that like normal license institutional actors that just issue commercial money. And so Tether and Circle have a very simple product and very simple way to issue their product. They are very much centralized. They back their stablecoin by T-bills. They make a lot of profit, 6 billion last year for Tether. And this is going for shareholders. So the product that they distribute is that liquidity over DeFi, because they offer a coin that is a stablecoin, a claim on Tether and Circle that offer us the possibility to trade. And you mentioned that 70% of the transactions, the volume, is in stablecoin currently. So this is a great product because at the beginning we were trading crypto against Bitcoin. And so you have both volatility of the two assets. And so they bring this new product that is stablecoin and they fit a need. They scale a lot, they have a lot of network effect, and they will be tomorrow a mean of payment. But their behavior is like an old bank, A bank, what they are doing, they receive cash and they keep your cash and give you a mean of payment. It's like a stablecoin. Stablecoin is like a liquid deposit of a traditional bank. And they make money with your money that you deposit, and stablecoin is the same. And so we say, okay, we need to reinvent the model of Tether and Circle, not just making a European and Euro stablecoin, but making something that is quite new, and that's going to embrace the ethos of crypto. And ethos of crypto is just to say, okay, we need to redistribute the value to the user. If the user is participating to build your company, the user should be owner of your company, and that's really the main goal of Usual.
And one of our mission at Kiln is to democratize value creation in digital assets. So we dig into your message. How do you redistribute value to the users? What is your business model as well?
Yes, that's really a key point because at the beginning, people said, okay, but Usual is something that have been already done and so on. Say, okay, there is Tether, there is Maker, there is various other project that is doing the same. Wrapping a T-bill is not really new. And I'm disagree because what we try to do is to disrupt the way that how we redistribute the value. And so if I can sum up quickly, Tether and Circle are redistributing nothing, no yield and no growth exposure. So if Tether worth 1 trillion, the user still have one stablecoin, and the stablecoin is just a mean of payment that is equal to $1. There is, since 2 years, a lot of real-world asset yield-bearing stablecoin. Great stuff, because I think that they will offer and democratize yield in crypto and give full efficiency of your capital. And so it's like, Mountain protocol, Ondo protocol, and so on. So they give you the yield of the T-bill.
We have Spyco in your...
Yes, Spyco also. Spyco is a little bit permissioned, but clearly they aim to do the same stuff, where they tokenize the T-bill and they offer on-chain a product that is normally a TradFi product. And I really think that is quite important because the initial layer of liquidity will be in a form of T-bills or various bonds in a form of token in the future. So that's really good, but they offer only the yield. What we are building is a company that rely on the T-bill as a collateral, but we offer a yield in the form of a growth exposure. And so if I can sum up, if Usual scale, the people have not just a yield, they have an exposure to the growth of the crypto, of the company. And so if we are scaling to billions, the people that align their interest with us at the beginning, that provide the first initial capital, will have a scale. And so it's why we are really different than a lot of governance token and a lot of various other models, because we build this tokenomics. And I think tokenomics are not bullshit. A lot of people consider that tokenomics is bullshit and so on. I really think that what is bullshit is the way we conceptualize today tokenomics. But tokenomics is a way to redistribute the value. And if you have good tokenomics that are sustainable, you can align your interest in terms of game theory with the early participant and the new entrants in the model. And so it's what we build during 2 years. It's not just an infrastructure that build on top of real-world asset or stablecoin. It's also a new way to conceptualize the distribution of the value over DeFi through something that is a bet. Clearly, I don't know yet if it will work. I think it starts working, but clearly maybe in 6 months, 1 year, this should demonstrate the limit. But we will launch we will publish the white paper next week, and we will explain what is the idea of usual. That is a new way to distribute value over DeFi through a governance token.
And we had the discussion prior, is today most of governance token and DeFi are not linked to proper revenue of the protocol.
Yes.
And you mentioned the name company in your case. Do you think that's how all tokens will evolve? Basically, they will have to, for the protocol or the company to generate revenue and to give back part of this revenue to the end user.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame. And as a former politician, I was working on the regulation just to protect interest in common good. What you can see on the market is, because of the regulation, the only things where people are exposed to is meme coin. I'm okay with meme coin. It's fun. Okay, but it's like a lottery. You take a ticket and you take a look if the price is going up or going down. I really think that crypto haven't been designed for that. Crypto is a new way to redistribute the value and expose for new kind of investors the value generated by various other companies, and help them to find fund, but also help them to redistribute this value around their economics. And so clearly, I really think that the regulator should attach some concern about that, because I really think that it's better for someone to be exposed to something that generates value, or something that is non-regulated, but not regulated because it's not a security token, that is just lottery. And so I clearly think that in the future, T-bills will be fully on-chain, stocks will be fully on-chain, and the equity of a company that is a company of a protocol, but it's just a way to see the fact that it's decentralized, and we will not hide the real subject that is just distributing something that is valuable and that look like equity. Clearly, I think it's the next step. I don't think crypto will stay at this level where you just have utility token that is a promise on some services and so on, that is hugely speculative, or governance token that represent no cash flow and where you don't have the possibility to value them unless the fact that they give you a right to govern something that is generated no cash flow or cash flow.
Right. And that's what you're going to publish, is in a way for the end user to be exposed to the growth of the protocol. Yes, by being exposed to the protocol cash flow in the future.
Turkey. Very simple. You say you have two assets in usual. You have the stablecoin that should be worth 1. You have a staking product, and you have the governance token. And the governance token gives you an exposure to the adoption of the stablecoin. If the stablecoin is adopted in a large way, you should be rewarded for that. Yeah.
And is the decentralization part of the governance token important versus, for example, a Tether or Circle?
I think so, but generally in crypto, a lot of people are pitching, the decentralization to not fit the regulation. I really think that, decentralization, like I said earlier, it's not just a model for a model, and really it's difficult to decentralize an entity. Speaking with Rune from Maker, we see that a company that is really horizontal and where there is no leadership and so on, at the beginning, this is really difficult to build something together and so on. So really we need to reinvent the way to build the governance in terms of how which are the people that have the right and so on, and how we make an efficient model. But I really think that in the long term, decentralization is just a possibility to put everyone in the same in the same basket and say, okay, you will work together. In certain sense, users, investors, developers, you will work together to create value, because there is not just the user on the side, the company on it's just a common basket. So that's really how I see decentralization, but not just, to attack institution, to not be regulated because there is no way to control. I really think decentralization is just a way to share better share the value there.
Right. And leadership, it's still very important. When you build a protocol, when you build a company, we've seen this on Ethereum versus Solana, for example, these days. So yeah, leadership is still important,
especially at the beginning. It's a lie to consider that you can create like that a protocol decentralized and will let him grow. You have contract with people. You should hire people to continue to develop. You need, like you said, the leadership to drive the vision and so on. For the moment, we haven't built something that is automatic, maybe generated by AI and so on, that will regulate, the governance and will take the critical decision for a company or a protocol. So clearly, at the beginning, a protocol is very much centralized. But I say everything, and also to the regulator, we want to build something that is decentralized at the end, and we will keep this roadmap to have something that is as possible decentralized. But at the beginning, the first stone you put on the ground is from individuals that have a leadership on the initial company. But on the long run, I hope that usual lab will disappear and there will be many usual lab, other company that will, for the protocol, will help and create new product, because this will demonstrate that what we have built in terms of decentralization is working. But for the moment, we are putting a lot of effort as a company to develop the protocol.
One thing I want to come back on, because would love to get your view on this, is 99% of stablecoin today are dollar stablecoin.
Yeah.
And you're building dollar stablecoin yourself. First of all, why is that?
Yeah.
And then is there a place for other fiat currency stablecoins? Euro, of course, that's you might have a strong view on, or other type of currencies.
Yeah, first, maybe about the context, if there is 95% of the stablecoin that are denominated in dollars, that just means that Europe is a little bit late on the adoption. Because if it were not the case, clearly European stablecoin and Euro stablecoin should have a better part of the supply, of the monetary supply, because that normally, if I have a European hedge fund, I will invest in euro and I will have my NAV in euro and so on. So I should use euro to be exposed to various products. But it's not the case. And that demonstrates that a lot of financial institutions that are in US or in Asia, in Europe, we don't have the same type of exposure to the crypto market. And that's a little bit a shame, because we have a lot of users, citizens that have crypto. That's clearly the case, but the financial institution is a little bit late. But I really think in the future, we will compensate when TradFi entities, especially through regulation, will bridge and will be in the CeFi ecosystem or DeFi ecosystem. They will invest in it, and they will also use blockchain to modernize their infrastructure. Clearly, I think there will be a compensation, and so European stablecoin will grow. I don't know if it will be started.
Do you think the only way for the equilibrium to come back is basically regulation and TradFi coming into play, so that they have interest in regulation framework that force them to play the liquidity game of a euro stablecoin, for example?
I think regulation never create business,
Right.
and never create growth.
Right.
It's never the case. I'm totally opposed to that. I think we need to have a sandbox. We need to have regulation. That's very important. But never regulation create growth. But what I think is that regulation will let a financial institution that are scared in Europe to be exposed to crypto. And at this moment, they will ask for a crypto stablecoin in Europe. For instance, you have a pilot regime that are a text next to Mika that is just organizing, the security layer of crypto. So with security token and so on. And for working, this law require to have a stablecoin in Europe. So you have Société Générale that is working on that try to create their own stablecoin. There is also always this digital euro from the ECB that is in place where people are working on it. But clearly that demonstrates that if you want to exchange and way of settlement, you need to have a European stablecoin. So this will happen. By who? I don't know. I think we will maybe issue a European stablecoin in the future in usual.
Yes.
But clearly you need to create demand, and the demand is not existing yet. And for that, I really think that if I were central bankers, if I was Christine Lagarde, I will be very much focused on the fact that if you want to defend European sovereignty, you should defend a European stablecoin. Because this is, you are not scared about a Libra bis or something like that. You should be scared about the fact that the only currency, like you said, is the dollar in the new economy, in the new DeFi ecosystem, and so on. So that's clearly a way to defend the sovereignty.
And you think there's no demand because there's no demand in Europe? I guess in Western countries, you don't need stablecoin as much as in emerging countries, right? Latam, Africa, Southeast Asia.
Yes.
And Southeast Asian or emerging countries users, they would prefer dollars versus euro. That's what you think, or?
Yes, absolutely. And because also since the beginning, but it's more related to the history of euro as a currency. But we don't spread the euro. We have a lot of policy that spread the euro. US are very aggro on that because they consider that the way for them to sustain, to be everywhere, and to keep their leadership. And so they're very happy of Tether. Every people say, okay, clearly there won't be a problem with Tether. But since the beginning,
weapon. Yeah.
Yes, emerging country, you mentioned that South America, Africa, Asia, everyone is using Tether. And so it's currently a mean of payment. You can think what you want about Tether, but clearly US is happy with that. And I don't see with the election of Donald Trump something that will change. Dollars will be the main priority. I think Bitcoin is a new one, but clearly they will continue to push dollars. And Tether is acting like that. Tether is a way for US to spread the dollar over every country and have the possibility for emerging country citizens to finance also the US debt. Because buying a Tether is like buying a TB of a certain sense. So you finance US debt. I don't say it's bad, but this is really the US policy. Why European actors, central bankers, don't see that as a powerful weapon to just spread their currency. If we consider that euro is not just for European actors, we should and we need to extend euro. You should embrace this theory.
Right. Maybe last question on this. You mentioned that regulation doesn't make a market and growth in general. In Europe, we had maybe one of the first, if not the first, clear sandbox for stablecoins with Mika.
Yeah.
Do you think that's good? Do you think that's bad?
It's a tough question because there is good aspect and there is bad aspect. The good aspect is that there is a way to uniform the market in Europe, but there is also a bad aspect. Let me give you an example. I think Mika have been designed to offer a clear view on what should be a stablecoin, how it will be regulated to protect European citizens, to protect euro, but also European citizens. what we can see is that there is a lot of limitation in the EMT framework, and there is also exemption on the decentralized that also give uncertainty. For instance, usual will be a decentralized protocol, and we should have a text that clarify what should be and how we should have a regulatory framework that fit with our needs. And I explain that because usual is not exposed to fractional reserve risk in certain sense where no asset are in a bank and this bank is leveraged over a few other things and can fail, like SVB Bank that failed, Silicon Valley Bank that failed in March 2023 and have a consequence on Circle during 1 week. And so we don't have this exposure. And I really think that how MiCA have been modelized, where the money will still be in a bank, is a systemic risk on the global infrastructure, because that means that your stablecoin can fail, go down if a bank that is holding the asset fail. Right. And in Europe, it's not really the case because we don't have a lot of regional, local bank that fail, but clearly that happened in US. Right. The second thing is that we have seen that, crypto market is worldwide. And so in US, if a bank fail and that is holding asset of USDC, the USDC that is held by a European actor, a European citizen, will be impacted by the fail of the US regulation, of the US prudential policy, of the establishment that is issuing USDC. And what I can see is that if USDC has the same fungibility when it is issued in Europe with the rules of Europe and the same fungibility of the rules that is in US and that will be built by the new Trump ecosystem, clearly, that means that the European regulation is not able to defend the fact that it's safe for European citizens to hold USDC. So it's a limit, I really think that we should embrace something that is more fitting with the new technology, where you should not say everything is going to commercial banks, so the deposit is going to the commercial bank, because it's something that has been invented to protect commercial bank in certain sense. That's right. And the other thing is that you should have something that clearly is fitting our need, and the need of the regulation is to defend the common interest of European actors and citizens. And so if a US entity fails, normally it doesn't impact the fact that your stablecoin should be in Europe, not depegging, because it's not relying to the collateral that is in US.
Right. And I would have many comments on this, specifically about European banks fighting for their business. I think it's complicated yet to embrace. But coming back to usual, so we've said in the beginning of the podcast, you've grown exponentially from 0 to 400 million TBL in a little bit more than 3 months, and now you're the 12th largest stablecoin on the market. How did you do it?
Working. I think it's something that is very hard. A lot of people are asking me if my former life as an MP was harder than this one. I really think that being an entrepreneur, managing a lot of constraints, legal constraints, financial constraint, the fact that you need to build something that is in a competitive landscape is way harder than my previous life. So no weekend, no night, working 100% of the time and have a full commitment on your vision. I think it's something that gives you the power, to fight every day. If it was not the case, if I didn't trust my vision at the beginning, I think I don't have the strength to do that, clearly. So you need to be to rely on what you think, and if you think that you are taking the good path, you need to be committed 100% and maybe more.
Right. So you are saying that this life is harder than the previous?
Yes, well, absolutely. Way harder. Way harder. I think I was working a lot as a member of parliament, 12, 14 days 40 hours a day. But really, this life is way more stressful. Why? Yeah. But I know, what it is. Building a company, you have all your employees that rely on you. You need to take a lot of decisions that can impact your company, and you can fail in 3 months. And yeah, especially in crypto, where you have the regulatory uncertainty, where you have a very, very aggressive market, a competitive market, especially on stablecoin, where if you are not fighting and selling good, you're dead. Clearly, you need to jump over all the trap that you can see around 2 or 3 months just to avoid to fail. And for the moment, we have made good decision, and I think it's also what we need to take care. We need to just we don't sleep, on our wins. You need to keep continuing pushing and be sure that the next decision will be the good one. And so you are secure, the company, the runway, your employees, and the business in general.
One way you get to this 400 million as well is distribution, and distribution is key in any businesses, but definitely in crypto with network effect and platforms. How did you do it?
First, we really don't. When we build a stablecoin, I was in discussion, with people, let's say corporate people that wanted to build a stablecoin, and I say to them, there is no way you will capture a part of the market if you don't have any strategy that is not just having a license, because the distribution is really complicated. You rely on exchanges, on CeFi actors. You rely also on the fact that you need to have liquidity first to be implemented. And so really building a mean of payment first, it's not possible. You don't start with 20 million and say, okay, tomorrow I will be a mean of payment that will be used in the daily routine by everyone because it's like a stablecoin. That doesn't work. So you need to be systemic first. And so we achieve to do something that is, okay, we will absorb a part of the cash that is non-productive at Tether and Circle. And so we really want to reallocate a part of the market that is not fitting with what is the crypto ethos and that is not productive. And so the idea is to scale with that. So if we can sum up, we scale on the financial product, on the financial layer, on the financial instrument. And after that, when you are systemic, when you have installed your value, you are sure to have stickiness in terms of TVL, you can distribute your stablecoin. And distributing is more B2B game, where you need to see financial institution, you need to see banks, you need to see hedge fund, you need to, and so clearly it's another game, another part of the journey. So since the beginning, we grew to 400 million, but it's like just something that is very little according the whole amount of stablecoin in the nature currently. And the idea was to implement it first in DeFi, because and that
there's so I agree with you. You said you worked on the financials, so basically you worked on accruing value back to the users in DeFi that will be exposed to your products and your stablecoins. But there's also a distribution there, right? You can be on one protocol or the other. You could be accruing this amount of value or this other, and it's actually a form of distribution in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the game during what we call the pre-launch phase, where people were seeding the liquidity in usual. And so the aim was to integrate a lot of DeFi protocol. Really, because DeFi is permissionless, you just have to manage your relation with partners and so on, but it's less complicated than integrate CeFi actors. So currently we have integrated, I think 50 DeFi protocol to make our asset composable, interoperable with DeFi. And so you can spread like that your asset, and people use it on various other protocol like Molly Market, for instance, Morpho, or like Pendle for more speculative asset project that offers the possibility to hedge your yield and so on. And so this was a plan during the last 4 months to have a race and to be able to spread your asset over DeFi. Currently, we are in a new phase since the listing of usual on Binance, where we need to spread over CeFi our assets. So it's a second step that is really critical also, because CeFi is the first gate where new users come to be exposed to crypto. And so if you want to be sure that you are not just a DeFi native product, you need to focus on CeFi, because the exposure is exponential according what it is currently in DeFi. And so that's the game currently, where the idea for us is to be used as a collateral, a mean of payment, trading pairs. And so in certain sense, we are doing the same stuff as Etina, where we want to be implemented everywhere over the DeFi or CeFi infrastructure.
And did you find a difference in terms of, I don't know, the negotiation or way of being distributed, listed from DeFi to CeFi? Is there different games or?
It's harder. It's way harder to integrate CeFi platforms than protocol, because protocol don't have the same constraint. Every CeFi actors are like corporate actors, so they have thousands of employees, really a hierarchy that is well structured and so on. But it's quite difficult to make things moving fast, and so they also have a big compliance because regulators are looking very hardly on their business. So clearly, it's really different. Yeah, it's way harder to penetrate the CeFi as a CeFi, and this was the great edge of Etina, because they achieved to say to all CeFi actors, okay, we can build something together that is a structured product that will bring value to you guys and also to your users. And so they convince them not to fight against each other, but to aggregate their needs and to be distributed over all the platform.
Right. And one thing that I want to come back to is a couple of things. But one is definitely stickiness of the TVL that we kind of discussed together. You've reached 400 million so quickly. How do you grow? And CeFi, you mentioned that was part of the answer, but how do you make this TVL sticky? And how do you make your users using the product in the long term?
Yeah, this is really the main question, because if we can see a lot of DeFi protocol, the growth is exponential, and after that, because there is an effect of not pump and dump, but dump because people are farming, there is a lot of mercenary behavior that create damage on the TVL and so on the value of the protocol on the long term, just after the farming period. So that's really something that we are aware of. And in terms of design, we have designed something that in every case, the long-term holder, either it is a stablecoin user or a governance token holder, the long-term holder should be really value against the mercenary. Because it's okay. This is, fast gain and so on. This is also what people want in crypto.
For sure.
But really, it doesn't work if you want to make a system that is valuable on the long term, and if you want to create a multi-years company. And so the idea for usual is to have a system that is totally linked to the governance token, to the value, how the value is redistributed. I will not too much deep dive in it because it's a little bit complex, but what we need to explain is that the governance token is based on the revenue of the protocol. If the TVL is decreasing, that means that there is less revenue, so the value of the governance token drops. So the idea for us is to never issue a governance token when we are not sure that there is projected cash flow. And so you have a mechanism of stickiness that is intrinsic to usuals through the LST, that is the liquid staking token that represents a stablecoin. And so people need to reimburse also their usual if they want to give back one their asset. So they need to stay in the protocol. They can sell their asset maybe with a discount depending on how the market price the LST. Normally it should be close to 1. But if they want to exit 1 and so have no loss and want to exit before the period of maturity, they should reimburse a part of the capital. Because there is, I'm fighting against that. There is no free lunch in crypto. The money is created somewhere. If people are making a lot of money quickly, especially hedge fund or investors, this is because people are okay to buy a shitcoin at a high valuation that will go down. And I don't want that. And so I'm very frank with my investors, with people that providing TVL and so on. I say, this model has been invented for long term. So you will make money if you are staying there and you are participating and bring value. If you don't bring value on the long term, normally you will make less in certain sense. So that's an arbitrage that tokenomics need to find, and it's why I really think that game theory in tokenomics are very much important, because if not, you just ruin your protocol, and this will go to zero because people are just not related to the use case of what you are building, to the product they just want to make a quick gain.
Right. And yeah, one way to edge this is, first of all, not to create incentives for people earning a lot and then pumping.
Yes.
And the other way is to have a long-term vision of how, and coming back to the discussion we had in the beginning, is like, how do you accrue value back, the revenue of the protocol, and this value is being accrued back to the long-term holder.
Yes.
Of the token.
That's exactly that. Stickiness is important because stickiness different value. If you have no stickiness, you have no value, so no way to redistribute anything, and so it's just only speculative. And the idea for on top of that is to have a balance that is well equilibrated between short-term sellers, farmers, and long-term behaviors that will manage the fact that both of these behaviors should exist. There is no problem to be a farmer, but clearly the last behavior, that is long-term believer, should be way more incentivized than the first one.
Yes. Love it. One question, conscious of your time as a crypto founder, you too. I want to ask you maybe just an open questions. What are you excited about in crypto? What are the exciting things coming for Usual, specifically the challenges as well?
We are in the middle of it because we are currently in the most critical sequence for Usual. With the listing of the governance token, with the airdrop, because there will be no point system after the airdrop. Next week we will release the new version of the DIA, and so we know, you know how it is. We have a new system. We need to update the smart contract. We need to update the DIA, and so there is a lot of risk because it's clearly a new way to distribute value. So it's not point anymore. It's reload token, so you cannot fail. And after that, there is the airdrop. That is a huge moment, especially considering that you release a part of the supply. So it's really important to see how the market is evaluating this event. And after that is the normal life of the protocol, and it's at this time we will see how it is happening and how it is what is the behavior of the market according to the model we have invented. So clearly the next 3 months will be very much critical for Usual. We can scale, or we can also have a drawdown of RTVL, but this is the bet we are making. To hugely scale on it. And after that, we have various other products that are entering in production, I think in December and also in January. So shipping new products is very important to fit also the dynamic of the market.
Liquid staking, for example?
Liquid staking is already there.
Right.
But yeah, on top of the liquid staking, there will be also various vaults that will propose various strategy, not related only to Usual,
Right.
but also different type of actors on also volatile and directional asset. That's really important in the market that is more bullish than it was before. So people want to re-expose themselves to something that is not just stable. And so that's important to offer various other products. And clearly, the idea also is to spread the stablecoin, so to be able to begin becoming a collateral on centralized exchange to spread the stablecoin and increase the security supply of the stablecoin against the yield product in certain sense.
That makes sense. Exciting times.
Yes.
And what excites you in crypto or the world in general?
In crypto, I really think that what I want to see is new entrants. It was 2 years that was very difficult because it's a bit of, people say, PvP, player versus player, in certain sense, where the liquidity is captive, is in DeFi, and so new projects just want to reallocate a part of the liquidity from former project, older project to them. And so that's great, some friction and so on. The fact that the market is starting another time to grow, to have more new liquidity is very cool, because that would demonstrate that also we will achieve a new step of democratization. I think what concerns me a little bit is what should be, the end game of crypto in order to democratize the product. We are offering, I think, product, and I think I'm offering complex product for DeFi users, and the game for us, as I see usual as a decentralized commercial bank in certain sense, like a common bank. I don't know if I'm Credit Mutuel, that distribute shares of this company, but clearly I see the vision of a bank that is aligning its interest as a protocol with the users. And so the idea is that if you want to become a new standard for an infrastructure in crypto, you should be able to spread that to people that don't have any financial knowledge as deep as it is required to embrace DeFi and complex product. So really, you need to have a mindset that is more fintech, that create a bridge, because at the end, stablecoin is maybe a little bit complex, but it's less complex than how Visa, MasterCard, and all this product are working. And for instance, it's really easy to use this product as a credit card. And so stablecoin should be way also easier to be used in the common life.
Yeah, and I agree in a sense that I think we have the required infrastructure in crypto now for the newcomers to join, without even knowing they have a wallet, without even knowing it's a stablecoin in the background, but so it's just dollar.
Yeah.
And now getting exposed to rewards or the yields of the underlying protocol. So I think in that sense, we'll see maybe dozens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of users around the world being exposed to stablecoin in the coming months.
Absolutely. I think it starts with emergent countries because there is a need and a lack of banking infrastructure. But clearly, it will also reach Europe and so on. So we have great time ahead of us. So that's cool. That's an exciting period. And I really think that we should be able to be open-minded to crypto. I think this is also one of the challenge, to just leave, the speculative aspect of Bitcoin and just speak about Bitcoin when it's at 100K or something like that, but just also to explain to our citizens what is the power of this new technology that gives the potential for everyone to hold their asset on their own and to have a better way to understand how the value is created in finance and how it should be distributed to everyone.
So I think we'll end on this beautiful note. Thank you, Pierre, for coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure to have you.